what we're going to do here is we're just going to do a little review from yesterday, okay? And remember, I would say, I might try and give you some steps too here. Let me just try and pull something up. And we'll go through some steps, just as kind of review from yesterday. I don't have the steps memorized. I mean, I have a general idea, but I have them written out here in a nice sequence so that, like, we can follow them, okay? So here's what we're going to do, okay? Here's just kind of a little recap from yesterday, and I'll write the steps. This is the kind of steps you guys are going to go through trying to solve these questions, right? So let's say step 1 is going to be label the sides of the triangle, okay? Step 2 is going to be, you're going to choose sine, cos, or tan. And remember, that's purely based on what's provided to you in formative. Sorry, I'm reading Ethan's comment and trying to talk at the same time. You're going to try and choose sine, cos, or tan based on what's provided to you on the triangle. Okay, let's deal with Ethan's question. If you have not done formative 7, Ethan, then you have to do both of them today, okay? If you are done 7, if you're the one person that's done 7, then yes, you're only doing formative 8, okay? But for those of you who have not done formative 7, do it with formative 8. I want both of them today, okay? And then I'll try and mark your quadratic stuff this weekend, and then we'll know where we stand on Monday, okay? And we can fix stuff. That'll kind of guide where we need to concentrate next week, okay? Third step. We're going to write the ratio, right? And that depends on what you've chosen here, right? So that comes out of, is it opposite over hypotenuse? Is it adjacent over hypotenuse? Or is it opposite over adjacent, right? And each of those have sine goes with opposite over hypotenuse, cos goes with adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan goes with opposite over adjacent, okay? So that's where you're going to write the ratio. That's what it means. And then you're going to plug in the numbers in here, right? With whatever you've got on your triangle. And then fill in given information. And solve for the missing piece. Okay, does anybody have any questions? All right, well, let's give this question a go then, okay? So step 1 is telling me label the side. So where am I standing? I'm standing in the corner that's saying, okay, the angle is 53 degrees. Okay, so let's say I'm standing here, right? And I'm going to look directly across. All right, well, I see x is opposite of me. Okay, that must mean that this is adjacent. And this, because it's opposite of the 90, the biggest angle must be the biggest side length, which we define as being the hypotenuse. Okay, this one is always what it is. Okay, it's always the hypotenuse. These are the two that can kind of flip around on you. Okay. Okay. So we've now taken care of step 1. We've said we've labeled the sides, right? We know what's what, right? Okay, we need to now choose sine, cos, or tan. Well, step 2 says make a decision. So let's write our little acronym here. Okay, SOHCAHTOA. you need to pick what it is you're trying to, or like which of these three you're going to use, right? Remember, O is for opposite, H is for hypotenuse, A is for adjacent, okay? So, in this question, I don't really care about adjacent, right? It's not given to me, not really interested in it because it's not labeled at all, really, right? Aside from the adjacent that you put there, it wasn't even labeled, so I don't really care about it. What I do care about is X. That's what I'm trying to solve for. Well, X is opposite, right? So I'm going to use opposite because that's what I care about. And you're like, okay, well, if I don't care about adjacent, that must mean that I'm going to eliminate the trig functions, the primary trig ratios that involve the adjacent side length, right? So we're going to say, okay, well, where's the A? Well, there's one, and there's another one. So we're going to say, okay, well, I don't care about those. I don't care about cosine and tangent, which leaves me with sine, right? So I've chosen sine for this question. Okay, that's step 2. Step 3 is write the ratio out. All right, well, sine of theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, now you guys just fill in the information that you have. Remember, this is theta. Theta is always in the corner, the angle. So you're going to say, okay, sine of 53 is equal to, opposite is going to be x over, what's the hypotenuse? 15. Solve for x now, right? We've now written the ratio. We're going to fill in the information given, and solve is the last piece. Okay? So, how do I solve for this? Well, you can, right up front, get rid of this. And how do we get rid of this? Because we don't really we have words now. Well, not even just variables. We have words in here, right? We have sine. Well, how do I get rid of sine? It's a word, not a number. You can't multiply both sides by sine. Right? So you're like, okay, well, let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of sine 53 altogether. How do we do that? Well, we go back to our trig table. Right? And you're like, okay, I'm dealing with sine, which means I'm going to be in the first column. All right. What was the angle? I can't remember what the angle was. 53. Okay. So 53, you got to go find 53 underneath the degree column, right? So let's go find that. 53 right there. Now you're in the first column underneath sine, or the opposite over hypotenuse, because that's what you're doing right now. You look across, you say, oh, there's the number I'm looking for right here. 0.7986. Once you have that number, you go back. Sine 0.9. Oh, I forgot the number. Oh, that's frustrating. I got to think about something else and I forgot the number. 7986. Okay, this comes from the table. I want to make a note on this. Okay, and that's equal to x over 15. Like, okay, how do I solve for x? Just multiply both sides by 15. Remember, the little dot means multiply. If you didn't want to write them in brackets, okay, you can put a little dot there. Okay, which means, okay, x is equal to 15 multiplied by 0.7986. Do the math on that. I did an update on my computer, so my stuff looks different now. 15 times 0.7986. All right, that means x is equal to 11.98 units. Anybody have any questions? Okay, these questions, as you do more of them, they're not going to take, I don't know how long this video has been running. They're not going to take 10 minutes to do these questions, right? You're going to get the hang of them. It's taking me 10 minutes because I'm going through each step individually, right? And I made that list there, right? They really don't take that long once you get the hang of them, right? I think the hardest part of this question, I think where everybody kind of messes up, there might be two problematic spots. One might be, which of these three do I choose, right? Depending on how you've labeled the triangle. The other problematic spot people maybe run into, because it's brand new, is switching this into a decimal number. Okay. It's not necessarily people having issues with solving, right? Because we've been solving for 4 weeks now. Okay. I've had lots of practice to solve. Just getting to the solving stage that I think there's a couple of little new things in there. Okay, what you're going to find here now, next when I go to do a question now, a word problem, is it's going to be beneficial, very, very beneficial for you to be able to just draw this triangle. Like, a trig question is going to involve a triangle, so just draw a triangle and then try your best to put the information from the question onto the triangle that you've drawn. Okay, and it's going to have a 90 degree in it. We haven't done anything aside from that, nor will we. We're only going to deal with 90 degree triangles. So if we come down to a word problem, just draw a triangle. A little 90 degree in it. And then just try your best to label the angle and the side lengths. Okay, that's all that I'm about to ask you to do, just as an extension, right? So let's go down. We're going to save this. This is kind of fun, actually. We'll do this next week. Okay. We'll do this next week too. That's not as much fun, but still interesting. We'll come down here and look at kind of word problems, okay? I might stop the video, actually.